You know what I need other than a big container of cheese balls for my desk? And that's a new boom arm. This thing is a cheap, rickety piece of shit, man. I'm telling you. Spent way too damn long getting this into the proper position. Just always buy good quality stuff. That way you're never disappointed. It finally found a position that it actually likes, so don't touch it and don't look at it. Don't acknowledge its existence and it won't move. But we're not here to talk about all that, people. We're here to talk about the brand new DC animated movie, Superman, Man of Tomorrow. Superman, Man of Tomorrow is the latest DC animated movie in the DC animated universe, and whether or not this is going to kick off a new universe for DC animated movies, I don't really know, because, spoiler for, Apocalypse Wars, that movie ends with the Flash creating another Flashpoint, and thus creating another universe, so is this the universe that was created via that Flashpoint? Or is the DC animated movies more so focusing on self-contained movies? I don't really know. I'm just kind of speculating right now. It seems from this movie they could definitely make a universe out of this, but only time will tell. So, I will be talking about spoilers for this movie, so sound the spoiler alert alarm! So, if you don't want anything spoiled for yourself in this movie, get out of here, go watch the movie, and then come back. Or if you just don't give a shit, then, you know what? Stay tuned, folks. Man of Tomorrow is basically a Superman origin story, and not really in the traditional sense of, you see him landing in Smallville and going from a small child to being Superman. It's more of a Superman origin story, Clark becoming Superman, and whether or not he should be Superman, and if the world is ready for a Superman, which is a theme that Zack Snyder used in the Man of Steel movie, where, it was more so him finding his place in humanity, and whether or not humanity was ready for a Superman, which you can definitely feel the theme of that in this movie. There's a lot of that, there's a lot of Clark, wondering and pondering whether or not he should, come out publicly to humanity and tell them what his intentions are, or if they're ready for that. And he doesn't really know what to do. He has been doing, superhero stuff in the shadows. You see that a little bit in the trailers, where he literally has, everybody's first vigilante suit ever, where it has a leather jacket and cargo pants and boots. He has a makeshift mask with his goggles, which he could probably be using for when he's flying around and whatnot. But his parents, they each have views on whether or not he should. His mother's all for it. She's all you have these gifts and you want to help people, so go do it. But his father's more reserved on it. He's just kind of I don't know if you should, they might lock you up. But what they tell him, which is something different that I noticed in this movie, is they all have views on what he should do, but they tell him it's almost like DC is kind of copying the "with great power comes great responsibility" line, because they tell him that, you're a man now and you have to make these decisions for yourself. But always remember, whatever you choose, there's consequences for everything you choose to do. And I heard that, and I was like, that sounds a lot like "with great power comes great responsibility." But I actually like them hearing that, a lot, in Man of Steel, his father was like, no, the world is not ready for a Superman, so stay hidden, stay away from humanity, that way they don't judge you for it. Which is, a theme that I really liked. It was refreshing to see something new in a Superman movie, especially an origin story for Superman. The origin for Superman is basically the same. Krypton was going to explode, and so they sent their only son to, Earth, where they thought he would be safe. That part hasn't changed at all. And of course, he starts working at the Daily Planet, but he's more of an intern for being a reporter. Right now, he's just the coffee boy who gets everybody coffee, and he just, he's really wanting to be a reporter, and his kind of inspiration is Lois. A little bit in this movie, because she's basically the Daily Planet's like best reporter, and that's all they kind of do with Lois in this movie a little bit. I felt they could have fleshed her out a little bit more, other than just being a really damn good reporter. The relationship between Lois and Clark in this movie isn't really traditional in the sense that there's like that attraction between the two, or it doesn't really seem that like Clark is attracted to her. It more seemed like he respected her, because she was a really damn good reporter, and he wants to be a reporter too, so who better than to learn from than the best? But I think they could have played around with that, maybe added some more subtle hints here and there, but as far as I could tell, that's just kind of as far as their relationship goes. Martian Manhunter is in this movie, and he's been living on Earth for quite a while now, and he knows who Superman is. He's kind of following him a little bit, and the janitor in this movie, that Superman gives him his coffee because he's working the early shift, and he's like, yeah, I did 2 tours in Iraq. That guy's definitely a shadow. Somebody's very interested in you, Clark. And Martian Manhunter, he does confront, Superman about this, and he's like, listen, I know you've been out, being like a hero and whatnot, but, you're the last of your species. You need to have self-preservation for your species and just lay low and, don't reveal yourself like he's been doing. And Superman's like, well, that sounds kind of boring, but what if I could change their minds? What if me confronting them about it head on and being like, yo, I come in peace, maybe they would change their mind. And, this kind of sparks, Martian Manhunter to be a little more open about who he is. In the movie, you see him reveal himself quite a number of times, because he likes that, Kal-El is an optimist. He likes seeing that. And it was a really good, like, moment between the two when they're, like, they're having tea, and, like, there's, like, this prism thing. And for the longest time, Superman was never able to open it, but, Martian Manhunter can peer into the minds of people. And so he was able to, like, read a little bit of Kryptonian, and he opens up this this prism. And it has, like, all this information about Krypton and whatnot. And it's really enlightening for Kal-El, because he's like, I've never been able to get this thing to open. And there's just so much information on it that he's a little overwhelmed by it. And that's as far as the prism goes. It just kind of, like, the movie just kind of forgets about it a little bit. Once it's open, he learns a little bit of stuff about Krypton, and then the movie just kind of forgets about it, because, we have a plot to do. We have a plot to go through in this movie. Lobo is in this movie. He's a bounty hunter, and he's basically hunting the last Kryptonian. And Lobo, I loved. I've always liked Lobo. I loved how eccentric and crazy. He's basically DC's Deadpool. And, if you know Lobo is Lobo in this movie. It's literally no different from the comics. Well, a little more tame from the comics. I've seen some people call Lobo a pervert in this movie, and I was just like, well, he's not total pervert in the comics, but he's very rude and crude, and, he really just doesn't care about all that stuff. Like, the stuff he says and does in this movie is very tame compared to the stuff I've seen him do in the comics. So, to me, it was just Lobo. That's just who he is. That's what he is. But Lobo was awesome. Parasite is the main villain in this movie, and I don't exactly know a lot about Parasite in the comics, but in this movie, he accidentally gets, the janitor I was talking about, Jones, I believe is his last name. He accidentally gets covered in, like, this energy-absorbing, like, goo, and he becomes, like, a living parasite, where he literally, like, sucks all of the energy out of literally everything. Human bodies, electricity, any type of energy he can come in contact with, he can absorb, which is an opponent that Superman can't really fight because he can drain Superman's energy from him, rendering him almost powerless. And so it's not really an enemy Superman can, meet head on. He has to find an alternate way. Lex Luthor is in this movie, and the movie literally wastes no time in telling you that Lex Luthor is dirty. Like, literally, when the movie opens up, it's Lois comes to Lex during a press conference for this new, space shuttle launch, and it's basically revealed that he's been using dirty money to launch this space shuttle, and that's kind of one of the things I didn't like about this movie. This movie feels like it moves a little too fast. It's just kind of like boom, 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 done. It's not a very long movie either. So when the movie was over, I was like, that was enjoyable, but really short. I feel the movie could have, benefited from maybe another hour or 30 minutes. That way, it could have been a little bit more of a slow burn. You could have fleshed out some characters a little bit more. You could have done a little bit more and make it a little bit more enjoyable. But this movie does kind of move pretty quickly, especially the beginning, where I just contemplate why they put that stuff in the beginning, because at first you see Clark and he's watching a movie with his friend, and it's a horror movie. And, his friend makes the remark of, oh, aliens sure are scary. I really like that, they're not real, which kind of makes Clark cry because he's an alien. And then it time skips to when he's a little bit older and he has glasses and he's messing with the prism thing. And then it time skips again to him, going to his job at the Daily Planet. So, did I say Daily Bugle earlier? I probably did. But going to his job at the Daily Planet, and it was just why even bother with that? You could have just streamlined all of that, and it would have been fine. It was just boom, 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 and then the rest of the movie was boom, 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 boom. It just, I don't know. For me personally, I think the story could have taken its time a little bit more and slowed down, added an extra hour or 30 minutes, and it would have been a little bit better. Also, anybody who watched this movie, did you guys think that Lois already kind of knows who Clark is? That she knows Clark is the Superman? I don't know. It just seemed like there was hints that maybe she knows. Because there's this one moment where she's at the copier, and she leaves these papers, and Clark is like, oh, you left your papers here, and it's literally a sticky note that says Superman, and then you see a picture of Batman jumping off a rooftop with his grapple, and it says cool cape. So does she know, and she's egging him on to be Superman? I don't really know. The movie doesn't ever exactly tell you, which I love. I love that mystery. I love that. Does she know or does she not know? I like leaving the audience in suspense. I thought that was a really good move because it's now we're talking about it. I'm like, does she know? Does she not know? I don't know. This movie does mention Batman a few times. Like I said, you saw the picture of Batman. You don't get a good picture of Batman, but it's obviously Batman. Even Martha mentions Batman because Martha makes the Superman outfit for him. Based from the clothes that she found, or not the clothes, the fabric she found in this the spacecraft when he landed, and she makes him this suit, and she adds a cape, and she's like, yeah, I just kind of copied that Batman, that wonderful Batman I see on the tabloids when I'm standing in line at the grocery store. And there's a lot of cheeky lines in this movie. You'll notice afterwards, Superman takes his costume and goes flies off to Metropolis, and his dad is like, "You added a cape?" And she's like, "Yeah, I think it looks cool." And you know what? These lines, they did get a laugh out of me. I thought they were fine. I like cheese. I like cheesy lines. Me personally, I thought they were fun. But there is a moment in the beginning where the space shuttle is like flying out of control, and one guy goes, "Look up in the sky," and I'm just like, I see what you did there, movie. I see what you did there. But again, I'm a kind of a sucker for cheesy lines like that. But that's just me personally. The fight scenes in this movie are great. The fight scenes between Superman and Lobo are great, and as well as Parasite. And the ending of this movie, okay, I'm gonna spoil the ending for you guys. Spoiler alert alarm! I know that's the second time that I did that, but again, like, if you don't want to know how the movie exactly ends, get out of here, man, because this is really good. So basically, Parasite is kind of unstoppable. Superman doesn't really know how to stop him. Even the traditional sense of, he takes your strength, but he also gets your weakness, doesn't exactly work. They have the plan of, they've sent all of the city's energy to this power plant that will attract Parasite. And by now, Parasite is literally like Godzilla size. He's like a kaiju now. And every time he absorbs energy, he just gets bigger and stronger. But now that he's absorbed Superman's strength, he also gets the weaknesses of Superman, which is kryptonite. And this movie does introduce kryptonite, which is really the only reason Lobo is actually here. Because Lobo has a kryptonite ring. And that's, again, I loved Lobo, but it just seemed like he was only there to introduce kryptonite. Which is fine, I guess. They could have done that other ways, I feel. But Lobo has a kryptonite ring. And Lex, uses, he puts it in like this inert, like, plasma rifle, and he makes like a kryptonite laser. And he shoots, the monster with it, but he's just like, oh, how wonderful. I can kill two birds with one stone now. Because he sees Superman as a threat, because of course he does, because the movie wastes no time in letting you know that Lex Luthor was dirty. Because we all know Lex Luthor is dirty, but, I think they should have, like, played out with that a little bit more of, like, he's greasy, but, they still need a way to get to him. But, like I said, boom, he's dirty and he's in jail. But yeah, they go to Lex Luthor for help, and he's literally going to kill Superman with his kryptonite laser. But thankfully, Martian Manhunter steps in and saves him, and, the monster now is unstoppable. And Superman finds out that, yes, he has the strengths and weaknesses, but Parasite also absorbs the thoughts and feelings of you as well. And so he kind of reasons it with, him and Parasite, with his emotions, as well as, you see all of, like, the bystanders, they're watching this on this bridge, and, they're really scared of this monster. And Superman, he starts reasoning with Parasite as on a human level. And then he starts talking to the humans, and he's like, look, this is not an alien. I am the alien. I am from a different planet. And he's like, this guy, he's my friend. He's Jones. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And, he don't fear him because he didn't really ask for any of this. And, they still fear him. Like, they throw Molotovs at him. But Superman's speech is so inspirational that when the power plant is actually going to explode, and Superman's powerless at this point, like, he's struggling, like, Parasite has taken a lot of his energy, and he's literally trying to fly over to the power plant, but he literally cannot. He flies a little bit, and then he falls into the water. He flies a little bit, and he falls into the water. But it's Parasite who walks over there, and at first you think, oh, he's going to absorb the energy and become unstoppable. He does, but he doesn't become unstoppable. He absorbs all of the energy and then turns to stone and then just crumbles and turns to dust right in front of Superman's eyes. And basically saves the day, saves everybody. Superman doesn't save the day in this movie. It's the human who was in the wrong place at the wrong time who, was able to snap out of being a monster and regain his humanity and save humanity that saves the day. And that was a really good moment. Like that ending got me. I was like, that is a really good way to end, an origin Superman movie. And it hits Superman like he's hurt by this. All of Superman's power, and he couldn't save the day. But end of the day, it was the human who regained his humanity from being a monster that saved the day, and that was a really good moment. It got a little tight chest. It was kind of emotional, and then the movie ends. Lobo goes away. Superman is now Superman. The new Superman look. I like it. It's very traditional in that sense. I do dig the Superman gold belt buckle. Like, I want a belt buckle of that now. Like, I would totally rock a Superman belt buckle like that. That is awesome. But the overall suit, it looks good. I like it. The animation I mentioned in the kind of like my review of the trailer was it looked like Archer, and it still looks like Archer, but I got used to it. I really did. I got used to the look of it, and I think it looks great. It's a great looking movie. The voice actors really killed their roles. I can't think of the guy's name at the top of my head. I'll put it on screen of all the names and the voice actors. But the guy who did Superman, I thought he did great. He's not trying to be any particular Superman. He's just trying to be the best Superman he can be. And there was a few areas where I thought, he didn't exactly nail it, but there was only a few, and I see there's a lot of potential for him to get better, but I thought he did great. The voice actor for Lois Lane, I thought she did great as well. She sounded like Lois Lane. Lex Luthor, it sounds like Lex, but it wouldn't have been my first choice for Lex Luthor. It's just, I don't know, I didn't have a problem with it. But like I said, it wasn't my first choice. Lobo sounded great. So did Martian Manhunter. The music in this movie, the main theme is pretty good. It kind of has that Christopher Reeves feel to it, as well as kind of putting their own stamp on a kind of like Superman theme. So I thought it was really good. And overall, for this movie, I enjoyed it, but I still stand by my statement when I said that it's enjoyable, but the movie moves a little too quick. Like I said, it's just boom, 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 and then we're at the end. It's a little too short, in my opinion. It could have benefited from being an hour or 30 minutes longer. That way you could have fleshed out a little bit more characters, like Lois and whatnot, and maybe make, I really do feel bad for Parasite, because he is a husband and a father, but you could have, shown that a little bit more, because at first point, I was just like, I feel bad about the guy because, he was just at work when it happened. He was just at his 9 to 5, and then this shit just landed in his lap, and, wrong place, wrong time, and he's now Parasite. But I would have liked to see some scenes with his family, so that way it's a little more emotional, and that's why I kind of stand by my thing of it could have been longer to flesh out these parts. It's kind of like eating a cookie. It's enjoyable, but after that, you just want another cookie. And damn, I really want cookies now. These are good. But yeah, that's what I thought of the movie. I thought it was good, and it was enjoyable, but it needed to be a piece of cake other than a cookie. And damn, now I want cake. I shouldn't talk about food, because I just make myself hungry. If I had to give it, a rating score, a number score, I'd give it a 7. I think it's earned a solid 7. Patches, stop moving the patches. Oh my god, okay. I think I would have given it, a solid 7. 7 out of 10? Is that fair? I think that's fair. Enjoyable, but room for improvement. Because I think a 6 is too low. So I'd give it a 7. Yeah, I'm standing by that. I give it a 7. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so that is all the time I have for this episode. If you've seen Superman and Man of Tomorrow, in the comments below, let me know what you thought of the movie. Did you like it? Did you hate it? And I'll see you guys at the next episode. You all have yourself a fantastic day. I'll see you next episode.